What's going on, Vault Dwellers? It's Top Rank and Noob here, back at it again with another helpful video for Fallout 76. Today we're going to be talking about vendors, where we can find them, and which vendors share their caps with other vendors and which ones don't. Before we get into that though, huge shout out to all of my subscribers. Thanks for supporting the channel. As I'm editing this video, we just crossed over into 100 subscribers, so triple digits. Thanks all for your support. If you're new to the channel, please smash that subscribe button, give me the thumbs up, and ring that bell. That way you'll be the first to be notified anytime I upload new content. With that being said, let's get started. So if you're watching this video, you probably already discovered that you can sell all your stuff to the vendors to get some extra caps. The problem is, when you move on to the next vendor, that vendor no longer has any caps. It's almost as if they have some sort of shared savings account together. If you weren't aware of that, let me show you exactly what I mean. So I'm hanging out here at the Grafton train station, and I'm going to sell some of my junk to the vendor. Pay attention to how many caps he's got left. I'm going to leave him with like about 192 here. And when we move on to the next vendor, you'll see that they'll have the same amount of caps. Let's just go down to the Morgantown train station so you see what I mean. I'm going to fast travel there so you don't have to watch me do cross country. So as we go into this train station now, we'll talk to this vendor, and you can see that he's starting off with exactly 192 caps. So these guys got a shared bank account together somehow. So you might be wondering, well, how am I supposed to make decent money in the wastelands if everyone's sharing caps? Well, the good news is not all the vendors are sharing the caps. It seems that they're more grouped up than anything else. So let's go to the Sutton train station next and see what happens. By the way, if you haven't discovered these locations, they are relatively easy to find, and I'll show you a map here in a bit. But as you might guess, all you need to do is follow the train tracks. So as I talk to this vendor, we can now see that he's still sitting at 200 caps. This guy doesn't share the caps with the other two vendors that we've already seen. I'm going to sell this guy some of my random stuff, and we'll leave him at about 188 caps. That way, as we travel from each vendor, we can then see which vendors are connected and which ones are not. At this point though, you might be wondering, but Noob, not all vendors are located at train stations. What about those guys? What I've discovered so far anyways, is that those vendors seem to share the same account as the closest train station vendor. So now we're going to be fast traveling south to the Charleston station. And as we talk to the vendor in this station, we're going to notice that he's sitting back at 192 caps. Clearly, this guy is sharing the caps with the first two vendors. So if you look at the map, there's no real rhyme or reason to this pattern. And since we're on the topics of maps, if you didn't already know this, most of these train stations are going to have a map on the wall. These maps are going to have little pins that show the locations of the other train stations. If you click on the pin, it'll display that location on your map. You won't be able to fast travel there, but at least you'll know you're heading in the right direction. So let's take a look at the same map. This time what I did was I numbered them to represent which vendors are sharing caps with each other. Between 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see 4 is down there by himself with a question mark by it, and the reason why I got a question mark there is because as I approached that vendor, he had 152 caps instead of a straight 200. Obviously, vendor number 4 is sharing caps with somebody that I missed. So if you know what's going on with vendor number 4, let us know in the comments so we can figure out what's going on. Now there is a 5th vendor that doesn't seem to be sharing caps with anyone, and that is our super mutant Graham. Now the problem is with Graham is he is a nomad. He is traveling all over the place, and he is very difficult to find on purpose. Usually I end up accidentally stumbling upon him, and I just sell him what I'm willing to part with, whatever I have on me at the time. If you know any more about Graham's route, please let us know about that in the comments as well, because I would love to be able to figure out this guy's pattern. So at this point you might be wondering, well, Noob, now that I know where the vendors are, what should I be selling to them? The best answer I can give you for that is everything. If you are not actively using it, go ahead and sell it to the vendor. Fallout 76 provides us with a very limited stash box space. Therefore, we're just better off exchanging the stuff we're not using for caps. We can always loot more of it later on. Of course, if you don't have anything worth selling to the vendor, but you still want to make sure you maximize on your caps, we can always go back to this method, where we go to the Mothman Museum just west of Vault 76, and we can collect as many Mothman eggs as we want. Once you collect them from these two areas, you just log out of the server and log back in again, and you can collect them all over again. This video might seem familiar. Our man Mexus had provided us with this early on during the beta. Now, the one thing I would add in order to profit more from this method is to make sure that you cook these Mothman eggs. All it takes is one egg and one piece of wood. When you first pick up a Mothman egg, you're going to be provided a recipe for the Mothman omelet. There we go. And the cool thing about this omelet is, one, it gives you like 6 XP for crafting each one, and extra XP never hurt nothing, but also it increases the value of the egg. So if you were to sell the egg to the vendor, you're going to get 2 caps for it, but if you cook the omelet and sell that to the vendor, you're going to get 6. Huge shout out to one of my viewers, Decarab, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, for pointing this out in the comments of one of the other videos, man. We all appreciate it. Alright, Vault Dwellers, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video clears some things up on the vendors and how they work, and hopefully this helps you get a little bit more rich out there in the wastelands. If you guys know of any other vendors that are not sharing caps, please let us know in the comments and help each other out, man. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see y'all next time.